He laughed when the judge declared the divorce final. He laughed like her pain was a joke. But the moment she walked back into that same world, holding the arm of a man no one dared question, that laughter vanished, and regret arrived too late. If you love deep emotional stories that touch the heart, don't forget to subscribe to Black Inside USA. They said heartbreak makes a woman weak, but no one told her it also makes her quietly unstoppable. Elena stood alone outside the courthouse that day, clutching a thin folder that carried the weight of 15 years. 15 years of love, patience, forgiveness, and silence. The sky was clear, but her chest felt heavy, like a storm refused to leave. Across the steps, her husband, now her ex, Daniel laughed with his friends. A sharp, careless laugh, the kind that cuts deeper than words. Freedom at last, he said loudly, making sure she heard. Elena didn't respond. She had learned something important in the final year of their marriage. Explaining pain to someone who enjoys causing it only wastes breath. Daniel had once loved her, or at least, she believed he did, back when they shared small apartments, shared dreams, and counted coins to buy coffee. Back when she believed love grew stronger through struggle, but as success found him, distance followed, meetings became excuses, cold dinners became routine, and silence slowly replaced affection. When Elena lost her mother, Daniel didn't come to the funeral. When she begged him to talk, he told her she was too emotional. When another woman appeared in his life, he told Elena it was her fault. The divorce was quick, clean, cruel. Daniel kept the house, the connections, the social circle. Elena walked away with nothing but her dignity, and even that felt bruised. A quiet disappearance. For months, no one heard from Elena. She moved to a smaller city near the coast, renting a modest apartment with sunlight spilling through cracked blinds. She took a job at a local cultural foundation, cataloging old records and restoring forgotten stories. It was quiet work, healing work. Some nights, she cried. Some mornings, she didn't get out of bed. But slowly, the pain softened. One evening, while organizing donor files, she noticed a familiar name repeated again and again, Adrian Cole. He was listed as a silent contributor. No photos, no interviews, just consistent support for art, education, and community projects. Curious, Elena sent a formal email thanking him on behalf of the foundation. She didn't expect a reply, but she received one the next morning. Simple, polite, thoughtful, and signed personally. Over weeks, emails turned into conversations. Conversations turned into shared reflections about loss, rebuilding, and the strange way life breaks you only to reshape you. They met months later at a charity event. Adrian was nothing like Daniel. He listened. He paused before speaking. He noticed small details, how she held her glass, how her voice changed when she spoke about her mother. He never asked about her past marriage. He didn't need to. Healing doesn't rush. Their relationship grew slowly, carefully, respectfully. Adrian never tried to impress her. He never raised his voice. He never laughed at her pain. Instead, he stood beside her. When Elena doubted herself, he reminded her who she was before the world dimmed her light. She later learned what others already knew. Adrian wasn't just a donor. He was a discreet investor, a strategist behind major enterprises, a man whose influence was quiet but vast. He didn't live loudly, and that made him powerful. The invitation. 2 years after the divorce, Elena received an invitation, a high-profile gala in the city. Daniel's name was on the host list. She almost declined, but Adrian looked at her gently and said, "You don't have to go for them. Go for yourself." That night, Elena wore a red dress, not to be seen, but to feel alive. As they entered the grand staircase, conversation stopped. Daniel stood near the center of the room, drink in hand, confident smile ready. Until he saw her, Elena, calm, radiant, composed, and the man beside her. Whispers spread. "Is that Adrian Cole?" Daniel's smile faded. He remembered that name. Everyone did. The man people waited weeks to meet. The man whose approval opened doors silently. Daniel's laugh from 2 years ago echoed in his mind. But now, his face went pale. No words needed. Elena didn't look at Daniel. She didn't need closure. Her healing wasn't loud. Her victory wasn't cruel. She simply walked forward, past him, her hand resting lightly on Adrian's arm. And in that moment, Daniel understood something too late. He hadn't lost her because she was weak. He lost her because he failed to protect what mattered. A softer ending. Later that night, on a quiet balcony overlooking the city, Elena leaned into Adrian. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" he asked. for reminding me that love doesn't hurt like that." Adrian smiled. Love should feel like safety. And for the first time in years, Elena believed it. Some losses don't scream, they whisper, late at night, when pride has no one left to impress. Daniel couldn't sleep after the gala. The image wouldn't leave him. Elena, standing tall. Elena, untouched by his presence. Elena, no longer his. He sat alone in his modern apartment, city lights flickering through glass walls that once felt like success. That night, the space felt hollow. Too big, too quiet. For the first time since the divorce, Daniel poured a drink, not to celebrate but to forget. And for the first time, it didn't work. The laugh that haunted him. He remembered laughing in court. God, how proud he felt that day. He remembered the way Elena flinched, just slightly, when the judge spoke. He told himself it didn't matter, that she was too emotional, that he deserved better, that winning meant leaving her behind. But standing in that ballroom, watching her walk past him without a glance, something cracked. She hadn't come back to prove anything. She came back free, and that terrified him. Whispers he couldn't escape. By morning, Daniel's phone buzzed nonstop. Not congratulations, not praise. Questions. Do you know Adrian Cole personally? How long has Elena been connected to him? You realize what this means, right? Daniel realized it very clearly. Adrian Cole wasn't just wealthy. He was respected. Deals moved when Adrian nodded. Careers ended when he walked away. And Elena, his Elena, stood beside him as an equal. Not an accessory, not a shadow, an equal. The first call. Daniel waited 3 days before calling her. 3 days of rehearsing apologies. 3 days of convincing himself he was the one wronged. 3 days of staring at her contact name, untouched since the divorce. When she finally answered, her voice was calm. Yes, no anger. No warmth, just distance. Elena, it's me, I know, she replied. Silence stretched. I saw you the other night, he said finally. You looked different. She smiled softly on the other end, not kindly, not cruelly. I am different, that was all she said. The apology that came too late. Daniel swallowed. I made mistakes. Mistakes. The word felt small even as he said it. I didn't appreciate you, he continued. I was under pressure. I lost myself. You thought I'd always be there, Elena said gently. Her calm hurt more than anger ever could. You laughed, she added quietly. That day in court, I heard it. Daniel closed his eyes. I didn't know how else to act. I know, she replied. That's why I left. What he never saw. After that call ended, Daniel sat in silence. He remembered the nights Elena waited for him with cold dinners. The birthdays he missed. The dreams she slowly stopped sharing. He remembered how she used to look at him like he was enough. And how he slowly convinced her she wasn't. Success didn't change him, he realized. It revealed him, a chance he didn't deserve. Weeks passed. Daniel tried dating again, tried traveling, tried distractions. Nothing worked. Finally, he wrote her a letter. Not a message, not a call, a letter. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't ask for another chance. He simply wrote the truth. I didn't lose you because you changed. I lost you because I stopped seeing you. You were never weak. I was careless. I hope the man beside you knows what I failed to protect. Elena read the letter slowly, then folded it neatly. She didn't cry. Closure looks like peace. That evening, Elena sat on the balcony with Adrian, city lights below them. Daniel reached out, she said. Adrian didn't tense, didn't interrupt. How did it feel? He asked. Elena thought for a moment. It felt quiet, she said. Like closing a door without slamming it. Adrian nodded. That's healing. She leaned her head on his shoulder. For years, she thought love meant endurance. Now she knew better. Love meant safety, respect, consistency. Meanwhile, regret stayed. Daniel watched from afar, not physically, but through news articles, charity features, whispered admiration. Elena was thriving, and for the first time, Daniel understood the cost of his laughter. Some jokes echo forever. Some losses never ask for forgiveness. They simply leave. Part 3. Some love returns only as a memory. Time did not stop for Daniel. It moved forward, slowly, relentlessly, without asking whether he was ready. Months passed after the letter. No reply came, not because Elena was cruel, but because some conversations end without words. Daniel's life looked successful from the outside. New deals, new connections, new invitations. But inside, something essential was missing. Peace. The house that felt too big. One evening, Daniel returned to the house he had fought to keep in the divorce. The silence was overwhelming. Every room held echoes of Elena. The way she organized books by feeling instead of order. The plants she watered every morning. The soft lamp she turned on before sunset. He realized something painful. The house was never valuable because he owned it. It was valuable because she filled it with life. A moment of honesty. For the first time in his life, Daniel allowed himself to admit the truth. He didn't lose Elena when she left. He lost her the moment he stopped choosing her. Success had made him visible to the world, but invisible to the woman who mattered most. And regret, he learned, doesn't shout. It waits. Elena's new beginning. Far from Daniel's quiet suffering, Elena's life had softened into something warm and steady. She and Adrian weren't dramatic. They weren't loud. They were consistent. Morning coffee on the balcony. Shared silence that felt full, not empty. Support without conditions. One afternoon, while visiting a coastal town for a foundation project, Adrian stopped walking. He looked at Elena, not with urgency, not with pressure, but with certainty. "I don't need promises," he said. "I just want tomorrow, with you." Elena didn't answer immediately. She looked out at the ocean, and then she nodded. The news that reached him. Daniel read about the engagement in a small article. No photos, no spectacle, just a quiet announcement supporting educational programs and cultural preservation. Her name followed Adrian's. Side by side, Daniel closed the page slowly. No anger rose, no bitterness, only understanding. She hadn't won, she had healed. What regret finally teaches. That night, Daniel sat alone and wrote one final note, not to send, but to accept. "I once thought love was guaranteed. Now I know it's chosen, every day. I didn't fail because I wasn't enough. I failed because I stopped caring when it mattered." He folded the paper and placed it in a drawer. Some lessons are not meant to be shared, only remembered. A quiet ending. Years later, Daniel would occasionally hear Elena's name, always with respect, always with warmth, and each time, instead of pain, he felt something else. Gratitude. She had loved him when he didn't deserve it. She had left when she had to. And because of her, he finally learned how not to love too late. The last scene. On a calm evening by the sea, Elena stood beside Adrian, watching the sun sink into the horizon. She no longer wondered what could have been. She was exactly where she was meant to be. Some love stories end in reunion. Others end in growth. And sometimes, the most powerful ending is peace. If this story stayed with you, if it reminded you that real love never asks you to shrink, please subscribe to Black Inside USA for more emotional stories that reflect real life, real pain, and real healing. Thank you for listening.